In Alexandre Dumas's The Three Musketeers, each musketeer embodies a distinctive archetype. Athos represents noble melancholy, Porthos symbolizes strength and excess, and D'Artagnan channels youthful ambition. Aramis, however, occupies a more ambiguous position. Polished, cultured, and devout, he is at once a gallant soldier and an aspiring clergyman. His dual identity makes him one of the most intriguing figures in the novel, embodying the tensions between worldly pleasure and spiritual aspiration, loyalty to friends and loyalty to faith. Role in the narrative. When D'Artagnan first encounters him, Aramis is portrayed as a refined, fashionable musketeer who pays great attention to his appearance. His manner is polished, his language elegant, and his concerns more intellectual than those of his comrades. Unlike Porthos, who revels in material extravagance, or Athos, who embodies stoic dignity, Aramis is presented as a man of dual pursuits. He is both a musketeer and a seminarian, torn between soldiering and the church. Throughout the novel, Aramis often serves as a mediator and strategist. He is less rash than D'Artagnan, less melancholic than Athos, and less boastful than Porthos. His role in the group dynamic is to balance these extremes with sophistication and subtlety. For instance, in the mission to retrieve Queen Anne's diamond studs, Aramis contributes clever ideas and resourcefulness, even though he is not as physically dominant as Porthos or as commanding as Athos. Narratively, Aramis also provides a romantic subplot. His relationships with women, especially those of noble rank, highlight his attraction to refined society and underscore his reputation as a gallant courtier. At the same time, his clerical ambitions complicate his involvement in such relationships, creating a tension between sacred duty and secular desire. By the end of the novel, Aramis remains somewhat enigmatic. While his companions embrace their identities as musketeers, Aramis keeps one foot in the church. This ambiguity gives his character a sense of unfinished development, which Dumas continues to explore in the sequels, 20 Years After and the Vicomte de Bragelonne. Symbolic significance. Aramis symbolizes the tension between the worldly and the spiritual. On the one hand, he indulges in dueling, romance, and fashionable society. On the other, he aspires to ecclesiastical office, seeking status and security in the church. This duality reflects a universal human struggle, the desire for earthly pleasure versus the call to higher duty. His character embodies this paradox, making him a symbol of human ambivalence. While Athos symbolizes moral authority and Porthos physical strength, Aramis represents intellect and culture. He is learned, eloquent, and thoughtful, often engaging in discussions about theology, philosophy, or poetry. His refinement distinguishes him within the group and symbolizes the role of the mind alongside the sword in shaping heroism. Aramis also symbolizes ambition disguised as devotion. His religious aspirations, though sincere to a degree, often appear motivated by a desire for influence and comfort rather than pure faith. This reflects the ways in which institutions like the Church could serve as avenues for social mobility in early modern France. Aramis's adaptability, able to shift between the worlds of sword and cassock, symbolizes the flexibility needed to thrive in a society governed by both secular and spiritual powers. Broader implications. Aramis's struggle between his role as a musketeer and his clerical ambitions reflects a broader conflict between duty and desire. Should one dedicate oneself to the battlefield or the church? To passion or to piety? This tension mirrors larger cultural conflicts in 17th-century France, where loyalty to faith often collided with political and personal ambitions. Aramis thus represents not just an individual but a society wrestling with competing values. Unlike Athos, who is a fallen noble, or Porthos, who seeks wealth through ostentation, Aramis seeks advancement through the church. His ambitions reveal how the clergy could serve as a ladder for social mobility. For Dumas's 19th-century readers, Aramis symbolized the adaptability required to succeed in a changing society, where traditional avenues of nobility were less accessible. His character reflects both admiration for and skepticism about such ambitions. Aramis complicates the notion of the ideal hero. While Athos embodies tragic nobility and D'Artagnan youthful daring, Aramis is less straightforward. His motives are not always purely loyal or selfless. His ambitions sometimes place him at odds with the ideal of self-sacrificing heroism. This ambiguity enriches the narrative by reminding readers that heroism is rarely unblemished. It is shaped by ambition, compromise, and personal conflict. Aramis's dual life also reflects the potential hypocrisy of religious devotion. His continued involvement in worldly pleasures, even while professing clerical ambitions, underscores the gap between ideal faith and lived reality. Dumas uses Aramis to comment on the Church's role in French society, suggesting that religious institutions could be manipulated for personal advancement. Aramis's character thus raises broader questions about the sincerity of faith and the compromises demanded by ambition. Despite his differences, Aramis remains a loyal companion to the Musketeers. His friendship demonstrates that unity can exist even amid divergence of values and ambitions. The group accepts him as he is, including his contradictions, showing that true friendship does not require uniformity. Aramis's presence highlights the richness of diversity within the Musketeers' brotherhood. Conclusion. Aramis is one of the most intriguing figures in the Three Musketeers because he resists easy categorization. As a musketeer, he demonstrates courage, loyalty, and skill. As a seminarian, he aspires to faith and authority. His dual identity makes him a symbol of the conflict between worldly pleasure and spiritual devotion, between ambition and duty. Ultimately, Aramis's significance lies in his contradictions. He is gallant yet devout, ambitious yet loyal, worldly yet spiritual. These contradictions make him a fully human figure, embodying the complexity of identity itself. By including such a character, Dumas enriches his novel, reminding readers that the spirit of all for one, and one for all unites not perfect heroes but diverse and imperfect individuals.